Thanks for joining us on Dott TV Midday News. I am Ife Arono. Security at the grassroots has been identified as the bedrock of sustainable peace and development, with stakeholders emphasizing the need for stronger collaboration between government authorities and community members to effectively address emerging security threats at the local level. Onyeka Odiase has details of this report.
Governor Sheriff Oboroweri, who was represented by the Director General on Security Matters in Delta State, Honorable David Towen, stated that security is a shared responsibility. He stressed that achieving lasting peace requires collective and coordinated efforts involving government, security agencies, traditional institutions, community leaders, and citizens.
Peace and security are indispensable to sustainable development. Therefore, initiatives such as this provide valuable opportunities to deepen collaborations, build trust, share experiences, and develop practical strategy for addressing emerging security challenges within our communities. I commend the chairman and the leadership of Oshimili North local government area for organizing this workshop and urge all participants to engage actively and constructively so that the deliberation will yield meaningful outcomes.
Speaking at a two-day security workshop held in Akoko Igbo with the theme, Enhancing Grassroots Security Through Strategic Partnership and Community Engagement, the chairman of Oshimili North Local Government Area, Honorable Innocent Eseweze, said the workshop was organized by the council as a proactive response to the security challenges confronting local communities. He noted that security is more effective when it is community-driven, which informed the decision to bring together youth leaders, president generals, and traditional rulers.
This historic workshop and the inauguration of Oshimili North Security Watch today marks a significant milestone in our collective determination to build a safer and more secure and more prosperous Oshimili North local government. This gathering is not mere another official event. It is a demonstration of our shared commitment to the protection of lives, property, and to the preservation of peace, law, and order in our communities.
Honorable Seweze further explained that the Grassroots Security Watch is not intended to replace or compete with conventional security agencies, but to complement their efforts in safeguarding lives and property.
The establishment and inauguration of the Oshimili North Security Watch represents another bold step in our determination to create a secured, disciplined, and community-based security support system that will complement the effort of the Nigerian police.
The highlight of the event was the official presentation and donation of operational motorcycles to grassroots security personnel. The gesture is expected to boost their morale and enhance their mobility, enabling quicker responses to security situations across the Oshimili North local government area. Onyeka Odiase, Dott TV News.
Now let's take a look at a bit of economics. Nigeria's inflation rate rose to 15.93% in May, driven mainly by rising food prices, with food inflation increasing from 16.6% to 17.8%. At the Obogonogo market in Asaba, traders speak on how the rising cost of food is affecting sales and consumers' purchasing power.
You write your leaks like you want to get 5 items in the market, but at the end of the day you will see that you end up buying 2 or 3 items because the money will not be enough. What you bought last week 2,000, you will come to the market this week, you will see that it's 2,500 or 3,000. Even the people that are selling, nobody is selling again.
Supplements don't kill us. For this data states where we do, house rent will not dey fit pay again. My house now when I start was paying 400 before. Now it's 1.2. As I'm talking to you now, they have given me quick notice where I'm living. I used to sell clothes For clothes now, look at my shop and sell it to comics. For me to survive, no customer, no market, hunger won't kill us.
Now, while governments have introduced measures aimed at stabilizing prices and easing the burden on citizens, many Nigerians say they are still waiting to feel the impact.
We, the common man, is really telling on us, and it's important that the government look into it and see how they can work out policies and programs that will alleviate the standard living of the people.
Calling on the government of the day to come and help us so that they can ameliorate the situation.
And despite a significant drop in global crude oil prices, many filling stations across Delta State have yet to reduce pump prices, leaving motorists and commuters struggling with high transportation costs. Residents are now urging regulatory authorities to enforce fair pricing as they continue to grapple with the economic impact of expensive fuel.
First of all, I don't believe that fuel should cost as much as 1,000 naira per liter in Nigeria. Reason we are an oil producing country, one of the biggest one in the world. Two, we have refineries. What same countries do, they refine their own products so the local people can get their fuel at minimum amount. I don't expect that fuel should cost anything more than 500 naira per liter.
This high price of fuel, it has affected every part of Nigeria, every part of the nations, even individuals. It made things cost, it made things high. Even we are the transporters, we find it difficult to feed.
Every day, every week, they come out 10 naira, they put in 20 naira. They come out 15 naira, they put in 100 naira. So it's remained the same thing.
As they put the price for fuel, they had us. When they put them normal price where we they buy them before, 400 is okay for them and me.
Meanwhile, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has raised concerns over what it described as possible consumer exploitation in Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector, following the failure of fuel prices to decline significantly despite a sharp drop in global crude oil prices. The Commission said its ongoing market surveillance showed that local refiners, depot operators, marketers, and filling station owners had implemented only marginal reductions in fuel prices, a development it said was not commensurate with the steep decline in international crude oil prices. In a statement by the FCCP's Director of Corporate Affairs, Ondaje Ijagu, the Commission said a review of prevailing gantry and retail prices suggested that consumers were yet to fully benefit from the easing in global oil prices. The Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the FCCPC, Tunji Bello, said the Commission was concerned by what appeared to be a one-sided response to changes in crude oil prices. Well, to security matters now, the Edo State Police Command has arrested 2 men for allegedly staging a fake kidnap in a bid to extort 4 million naira from the family of one of the suspects. The suspects, identified as 48-year-old Lucky Alabi and 37-year-old Taye Enahoro, built of Oneme Abama community, were arrested by operatives of the Igara Division following what the police described as intelligence-led investigations. Confirming the arrest in a statement, the police public relations officer Enno Ikiwedem said the suspects were apprehended after detectives uncovered the alleged plot. The command explained that investigations revealed the alleged scheme was carried out on June 23rd, when one of the suspects reportedly contacted Alabi's relatives and demanded a ransom. In the meantime, former Edo State Governor and Senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Adams Oshomole, has endorsed the death penalty proposed by the administration of Governor Monday Ekpebolo for kidnappers and bandits. According to a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to Monday Ekpebolo, Oshomole spoke while addressing party supporters at the flag-off of the Edo North Senatorial District local government election campaign in Esako West local government area. He also reiterated his support for the creation of state police, saying it would complement the efforts of the Nigeria Police Force in tackling insecurity. And in Enugu, the State Police Command has recovered 2 vehicles stolen in separate incidents in Imo State, including a Lexus RX 300 SUV snatched during an armed robbery in 2018 and arrested 3 suspects linked to one of the cases. The command said the recoveries were made in separate operations carried out by its operatives in Enugu State. In a statement, the State Police Public Relations Officer Daniel Ndukwe said the first operation was carried out on June 25th after a report that a commercial minibus had been snatched from its driver a day earlier in Okigwe, Imo State. According to him, operators of the Aninri Police Division, acting on credible intelligence, traced the vehicle to Onweke Ndabo in Aninri local government area, where the suspects abandoned it and fled on citing the police. Well, elsewhere, troops of Sector 2 Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Fansanyama have killed 2 suspected Lakurawa terrorists and recovered arms and ammunition during an operation in the Sabarumawa axis of Kebbi State. The operation, conducted on June 27, followed intelligence that a group was planning an attack on the Sabarumawa community. This was contained in a statement by the Media Information Officer of Operation Fansanyama, Aliyu Danja. Danja said troops of the Chief of Army Staff Intervention Battalion 7 swiftly mobilized to the area and laid a tactical ambush along the terrorist suspected route to thwart the planned attack. It added that troops subsequently recovered AK-47 rifles, AK-47 magazines, 143 rounds of ammunition, and a motorcycle from the scene. Still ahead on the midday news, resident doctors give federal government final ultimatum over unresolved demands, threaten strike, plus foreign and sports stories coming up after this time. Please stay with us.
Of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the rest of our stories. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has issued what it described as a final 4-week ultimatum to the federal government to address outstanding welfare and professional issues affecting its members or risk a nationwide industrial strike. The decision was reached during the association's extraordinary National Executive Council meeting held virtually on June 27, 2026, after reviewing the government's response to an earlier 21-day ultimatum issued in May. In a communique jointly signed by NAD President Mohammed Suleiman, Secretary General Shuaibu Ibrahim, and Publicity and Social Secretary Abdul Majid Ibrahim, The association declared an official industrial dispute with the federal government over what it described as prolonged inaction on critical demands. At the top of the list of grievances is the failure to release the 2026 Medical Residency Training Fund, which the doctor said has remained unpaid despite repeated assurances from relevant authorities. The association also cited delays in the payment of salaries for house officers in several training institutions, non-payment of the 25 or 35% CONMES salary adjustment arrears, and 19 months of outstanding professional allowance. And now to politics. The presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC, Peter Obi, has alleged that the federal government was plotting to prevent him from contesting the 2027 presidential election. Obi made the allegation while speaking at a leadership program organized by the Next Gen Mentorship and Leadership Initiative at Madonna University, Okija, Anambra State. According to him, powerful interests within the government were determined to ensure that he did not appear on the ballot in the next presidential election. Obi, who was reacting to the Friday judgment of the Federal High Court in Lokoja, Kogi State, which set aside an earlier ruling directing the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to register the NDC as a political party, said the decision would not derail his political aspirations. Similarly, former Vice President and presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Atiku Abubakar, has condemned what he described as attempts to frustrate the registration of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC. Atiku's reaction followed a ruling by the Federal High Court in Lokoja, Kogi State, which set aside its December 10, 2025 judgment, directing the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to register the NDC as a political party. The presiding judge, Issa Dashen, ruled that the Peace Movement Party should have been joined in the suit because its interests were affected by the case. Responding to the judgment in a statement issued by the Atiku Media Office, the former vice president said he was not surprised by what he described as a disturbing development, warning that it could have grave consequences if what he called a plot to weaken opposition parties in favor of the Tinubu's 2027 re-election bid succeeds. Let's now join Priscilla Ifani for news on the international scene.
11 people have died after a civilian aircraft carrying skydivers crashed in the town of Tomblain in eastern France. Local officials said the pilots and all 10 passengers were killed, including 5 instructors and 5 people who were preparing to skydive for the first time. The plane, which was used by the Patriotic School, had taken off from Nancy SC Airfield, where it crashed suddenly at around 11 a.m. local time. Some of the victims' relatives saw the crash take place as they gathered at the airfield to watch the first-time tandem jumpers. The mayor of the nearby city of Nancy, Matthew Klein, said some of the victims had died in full view of their loved ones. Elsewhere, Europe's unprecedented early summer heatwave may be responsible for hundreds of excess deaths, and that's according to the head of the World Health Organization. Temperature records were broken across the continent again on Sunday, including in Germany, Poland, and the Czech Republic, as the extreme heatwave continued to move east. In a post on X, WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom said more than 1,300 excess deaths had been recorded since 21st June, linked to high temperatures in Europe. On Sunday morning, France's National Health Ministry said there had been more than around 1,000 more deaths than expected in the country since Wednesday. To other stories, the US and Iran have agreed to stand down following an exchange of strikes over the past few days. It comes after several attacks in and around the Straits of Hormuz, culminating in both nations accusing each other of violating their ceasefire. The officials confirmed to BBC's US partner CBS News that vessels will now be able to move through the waterways freely, and added that renewed talks aimed at ending the war will continue. Iran has not commented on the report that it has agreed to halt strikes in the Straits. On 17th June, the US and Iran signed a 14-point memorandum of understanding, which included an immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts. And finally, Pakistan launched airstrikes and sent ground troops into Afghan provinces along its border on Sunday, killing dozens. At least 36 civilians, including women and children, have been killed and more than 160 others wounded, says Afghanistan's Taliban government had condemned it as a cowardly act and a crime and atrocity. Pakistan's Information Minister Atallah Attara said 29 militants were killed in the strikes targeted at their hideouts, adding that the strikes were a response to recent terrorist attack against innocent people. I am Priscilla Ifani, Dott TV News.
Those are the updates from the foreign scene. Anthony Uche has got sports stories.
From the sports desk today, we begin with some World Cup news. As South Africa has become only the second African nation to be eliminated from the tournament following a 92nd-minute goal from Canada's Steven Eustachio in the first round of 32 match on Sunday evening. Today's last 32 encounters include five-time winners Brazil taking on Asian powerhouse Japan. Germany make their first knockout round appearance at the tournament since 2014 when they take on Paraguay. And Africa's strong run at the competition looks set to continue when the Netherlands square up against Morocco in the last game of the day. Now to some tennis news, where the third Grand Slam of the tennis season begins today with the defending champions in action. Ladies champion Iga Swiatek will start her title defense against American Taylor Townsend, while Yannick Sinner, the gentleman's defending champion, takes on world number 51 Memoir Kecmanovic. Meanwhile, Britain's highest-ranked women's player, Emma Raducanu, has pulled out of the tournament because of a stress fracture in her lower right leg, the 23-year-old announced late Sunday evening. This year's event is marked by the return of the Williams sisters, British tennis legend Andy Murray, as well as the record-chasing Novak Djokovic, who is aiming for that elusive 25th Grand Slam title. Notable absentees include world number 2, Carlos Alcaraz, who is out with a wrist injury. Now to the fast side of sports, where George Russell won his second race of the Formula 1 season, winning a tense battle with Red Bull's Max Verstappen for the victory at the Austrian Grand Prix. Russell's Mercedes teammate Kimi Antonelli rounded up the podium in Spielberg, and next on the Formula 1 calendar is Silverstone in the British Grand Prix, from the 3rd to the 5th of July. From the sports desk, Anthony Uche for Dott TV News.
And that's it on the Midday News on Dott TV. Thank you for joining us. I am Ife Arono. Keep watching Dott TV.